What's up, guys? Welcome back to Unqualified Critics. Got an update for you on Big Buck World. If you're on Arcade1up's email list, you saw this. I want to give you my commentary because I did decide to spring for the 500 bucks here. And this time of year, me spending 500 bucks at a time is a big deal. It's not something I'm doing lightly right now. Got projects around the house that I still want to do that take their toll on the old paycheck. So I'm not buying as much stuff maybe as I was last spring. I'm starting to get a little pickier with what I put in the house. And pretty much every time, it comes down to, for me, authenticity is what gets me kind of to part with my money. And I don't think I knew that right away. It was just sort of felt like I was buying the products I wanted. But when I really thought about the ones I buy versus the ones I don't, well, I'm buying the stuff that looks and feels a little more authentic to some original cabinets versus some stuff that doesn't. And that's just my preference. A lot of you buy the products that you might get the most replay out of, which is a perfectly good reason to make a decision. You might buy the products that are most versatile or that are most mod friendly. There are a bunch of good reasons to pick different things. But I just personally keep coming back to, does this look and feel pretty authentic to an original product that I want in my house? And that's just where I end up parting with my cash. And Buck World did move the needle for me on that front. I did get it. If you take a look at the original, this is what the original stand-up format for Buck World looks like. And Buck World isn't actually its own game. This is simply a combo of two existing games. And that is Big Buck Safari and Big Buck Hunter Open Season. Now, both of those titles are included in the Buck Hunter cabinet from Arcade1up. So it does make sense to use this skin, but it's not really a new product. It's the exact same product, the exact same games we've had access to for a long time. The difference is Arcade1up selling it direct for 500 bucks. They're undercutting a retailer at launch for the first time that I've ever seen it. That's kind of a big deal. It's good news for us. It makes sense because Best Buy is going to take a couple $100 out of this $550 and keep it for themselves. So if Arcade1up's going to sell direct, it does make sense to pass some of that savings on to the consumer. I'm surprised that they're allowed to do that. I'm surprised that Best Buy allows that, but I'm glad they allow it because it's a good deal for all of us. Now, when they announced this yesterday, it was going to be $499.99, so 50 bucks off, and free shipping, and there's no sales tax. They might collect sales tax in California, where I believe Arcade1up is based. Now, technically, you are supposed to pay sales tax on everything you buy at the end of the year when you do your taxes, but I'll leave that between you and your tax accountant. That's not for me to advise on. I'll just tell you that out the door, you're only paying $500 plus shipping and handling, and I know a lot of you did order this before they got rid of the free ship, so you took advantage of that. And if you did, good for you. That was what got me to jump into it. I do like the Buck Hunter Pro cabinet. It's got the classic artwork. It's the more iconic artwork of the two. It's going to sound maybe kind of silly, but I felt like the marquee on this one looks better without it being lit because it's this dark crimson kind of color, whereas here it looks like it almost should be plastic. It should be lit up. It looks very fake. I know all they did was change the colors, so again, it's kind of a dumb thing, and I'm just going off photos here, so who knows what it'll look like in person. My original thought, though, I know a lot of you are concerned about the size of the screen. I'm not. Maybe it's a problem. I'm definitely going to play this two people side by side, and I'll tell you if I think it's an issue. It could be. Certainly, Buck Hunter is a precision shot game, and maybe there isn't enough. Maybe the game is too difficult on this small of a screen. I don't know. I do hope we get difficulty settings that we can adjust because it's going to be harder on this than it was on the original hardware, that is for sure. And maybe turning the difficulty down a little bit will help. I don't even know if Buck cabinets had difficulty settings. I'm just kind of assuming they did, but I guess we'll find out. I'm mostly okay, tentatively okay with the monitor size. Again, we'll see. I just didn't like that there's not a light up marquee, and who knows if they'll ever do a version 2 that lights up. Who knows if they'll sell a light up marquee accessory for rip off 80 bucks, which is what they're charging right now, which I think is ridiculous for their other cabinets that didn't come with light up marquees. So it's disappointing, and that's why at $550 plus tax, it was a little bit marginal for me. At $500 free ship, well, now we're talking. So I am pretty hyped for this. I probably will not be an early review on this because if you buy it from Best Buy, you are still looking at an early, a mid-December? Or no, it's currently saying December 31. So I've heard chatter that Some people got a mid-December ship date if they ordered sooner, so you might see reviews pop up in 2-3 weeks. But I don't know. It's been kind of all over the place with exactly when this stuff is going to go out. So maybe we won't see it until January. Mine isn't going to come until early Jan, but I will definitely review it for you and give you a pretty thorough review. You know, again, it just, for me, it's come down to what are the cabinets that look most closely like an authentic piece of hardware. Clearly, this isn't exact. I mean, again, here's the actual original, and here's the one from Arcade1up. There are differences here. There are pretty substantial differences, but you know, it basically resembles an original cabinet. And this time of year, you know, money's a little tight, doing some stuff around the house. You got your Christmas shopping you got to do. I know it's doubly true for those of you with children. Definitely throwing down some cash this time of year. So if you're like me, think a little twice about putting down some cash. But when it comes to something that looks pretty authentic, that I think is going to also be fun to play, then now we're in my sweet spot where I feel pretty comfortable dropping money on this. I think this is going to be another Golden Tee in the sense that I think this is going to be a fun replay game that's never going to get old. You know, you can't have a perfect game of Golden Tee, really. You're always going to make some mistake. If you're like me, you make a lot of mistakes. I've definitely gotten better at Golden Tee since I bought the cabinet, but that's a challenge of it. You keep coming back to it. Buck World is the same thing. You know, you can't probably be a perfect shot every time, but you just try a little bit harder, try the next level, try to get a little better score, maybe similar to the Star Wars cabinet, but this has more modern graphics. I think they said they're going to tune this up to 60 frames a second. I'm sure this is going to have that beefier PCB with the active cooling fan in it I'm expecting from the Outrun cabinet. And, you know, I'm probably going to get a pinball, so to me it was really thinking twice about, do I want the Buck Cab or do I want the Outrun? And if you're watching my channel, you already know I didn't pick up Outrun, so I guess this slotted in just fine to get my Arcade1up fix and probably close things out for the rest of 2020 and start 2021 off with a bang. Want to hear from you guys. Is this a cabinet you're going to be picking up? Are you guys waiting on other products? I know there's a lot to pick from right now, so let me know what you're getting. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, consider hitting that join button to support the channel, and thanks so much for watching.
Dripping lights paint the sky.